The turning point, the Battle of Midway, 1942. The Battle of Midway, 1942. June 1942. The Pacific Ocean became the stage for one of the most decisive battles in history, a battle where courage, strategy, and a stroke of luck changed the course of World War II. This is the story of the Battle of Midway, the moment the tide turned in favor of the Allies. By 1942, Japan was at the height of its power. Their empire stretched across the Pacific from China to Southeast Asia, and they aimed to dominate even further. After their surprise attack on Pearl Harbor in December 1941, the Imperial Japanese Navy seemed unstoppable. They had crippled the U.S. Pacific Fleet and were confident in their ability to control the seas. But the United States was not ready to surrender the Pacific. Despite the devastation at Pearl Harbor, the U.S. Navy still had its aircraft carriers intact. These floating air bases would become the key to turning the tide. Japan, however, had a plan. They aimed to lure the remaining U.S. carriers into a trap by attacking Midway Atoll, a small but strategically vital outpost. Midway Atoll, located roughly halfway between Asia and North America, was a critical piece of real estate. For Japan, capturing Midway would extend their defensive perimeter and potentially force the U.S. into a negotiated peace. For the U.S., holding Midway was essential to protecting Hawaii and maintaining a foothold in the Pacific. Unknown to Japan, the U.S. had a secret weapon: codebreakers. American cryptographers working tirelessly had cracked the Japanese naval code, known as JN-25. This breakthrough revealed Japan's plan to attack Midway. Armed with this intelligence, Admiral Chester Nimitz, commander of the U.S. Pacific Fleet, prepared a daring counterattack. Despite being outnumbered, the U.S. Navy was ready to ambush the Japanese fleet. On June 4, 1942, the battle began. Japanese aircraft launched airstrikes on Midway, hoping to destroy its defenses and lure the U.S. carriers into the open. But the U.S. was prepared. American planes from Midway and the carriers Enterprise, Yorktown, and Hornet were already in the air searching for the Japanese fleet. The turning point came in a matter of minutes. U.S. dive bombers flying at high altitudes spotted the Japanese carriers. In a daring and coordinated attack, they swooped down, dropping bombs on the carriers Akagi, Kaga, and Soryu. The results were devastating. All three carriers were engulfed in flames, their decks littered with planes and ammunition. A fourth carrier, Hiryu, would later be sunk as well. The loss was catastrophic for Japan. In just one day, they had lost 4 of their fleet carriers, the backbone of their naval power. Over 3,000 Japanese sailors and pilots were killed, along with hundreds of aircraft. The U.S., though it lost the carrier Yorktown, had achieved a decisive victory. The balance of power in the Pacific had shifted. The aftermath of the Battle of Midway was profound. Japan's offensive capabilities were severely weakened, and they would never fully recover. The U.S., on the other hand, gained the initiative. This victory paved the way for the Allied island-hopping campaign, which would eventually lead to Japan's defeat in 1945. But the Battle of Midway was more than just a military victory. It was a testament to the courage of those who fought, the brilliance of strategic planning, and the power of intelligence. The codebreakers who uncovered Japan's plans, the pilots who risked their lives, and the sailors who stood their ground all played a part in this historic triumph. Today, the Battle of Midway is remembered as one of the most significant naval battles in history. It was a moment that changed the course of World War II and ensured that freedom would prevail in the Pacific. The lessons of Midway, of resilience, ingenuity, and determination continue to inspire us today. The Battle of Midway, a clash of giants, a triumph of strategy, and a turning point in World War II, remembering the past to inspire the future.